Welcome back to the channel as I continue to cover my post-Senior Bowl prospect rankings for the 2023 NFL draft class, and today we're talking about the running backs. Ooh wee, but what's crack-a-lackin'? It is your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know, so go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comments section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. I cover a top 10 in this video, but if you follow me on Twitter, you'll get my top 20 prospects at the running back position for this draft class. I promise I'm a good follow. You won't regret it. Let's go ahead, get into it with number 10, KENDRE Miller out of TCU, 6'2", 220. I got a 4th round projection currently on him, and he had a heck of a year for the Hypnotoads there, as he almost ran for over 1,400 yards. You could tell because he didn't play in the national championship game, and just the ineffectiveness of the run game for TCU against Georgia. Not to say KENDRE Miller would have made a huge difference in that outcome, but you could just tell how inept the the running game was in general. They really did sorely miss him, because he truly is a big play waiting to happen. He is trouble out in space. He shows nifty footwork, quick feet. He's able to eat contact fairly well, especially around his lower body, as he averaged 5.06 yards after contact. He's a patient ball carrier as well, displays good vision. He's able to make quick cuts, get to the open field, so he's got that decent explosiveness. Once he sees daylight, he's gone. Shifty, solid breakaway speed. What was it this past year? He had 11 plays of 10 plus yards in 2022, and he's just agile for a 220 pounder. He truly is. Now, not used a ton in the passing game, despite his skill set, because you look at him, he's like, oh man, yeah, get this guy out in daylight, use him on a screenplay or something, and you think he'd be exceptionally dangerous. But they just didn't use him in that regard. He wasn't used often in the passing game. He doesn't really offer much as a pass blocker, at least nothing we saw really there at TCU, as there were times where he would get actually ran back into Max Duggan. Adding more strength to his upper body could go a long way, especially with his build, I think. And when I say add more strength, more explosive strength, because I think that you give this guy a deadly, like, stiff arm jab, ooh wee, man, that ought to be a real nice. But big fan of KENDRE Miller. You're gonna see this 4th round grade. A lot of these guys are like fringe day 2, like starting here, and even like my 11 and 12, who I'm not going to mention here, go to the Twitter, are fringe day 2 guys. This is an exceptionally good running back class. On to number 9, Kenny McIntosh, another guy with a 4th round grade, but again, it's basically fringe 1st rounder. If you're not new to the channel, you know I absolutely love me Kenny McIntosh. I've been very high on him for the last 2 seasons. 6'2", 210, had over 800 yards running, over 500 receiving, 12 total touchdowns. He was at the Senior Bowl, and I thought he looked the part. He looked good, man. He was like, yeah, this is a very good pass catcher, and based on what he's done at Georgia, he has return capabilities. He was a very good, pretty solid returner there, especially his freshman season, but freshman and sophomore seasons. But I mean, he had a couple of fumbles during the Senior Bowl practices, which just kind of is what it is. He only had 2 fumbles in all of 2022, but absolutely one of my most, like, this is a my guy, absolutely a my guy. The force missed tackle rate on him is really good. I mean, he only had 151 carries. I mean, a lot of the guys we're going to look at on this list were like close to 2, if not well over 200, and he had 45 forced missed tackles this past year. If you look at his touches from 2020 to 2021, where he was kind of splitting time, there was Zamir White, and actually a few other guys too, James Cook and such. He had 62 forced missed tackles on 137 touches. So pretty solid there. He never gets too bouncy in the backfield. Just very dangerous in space. Takes contact relatively well. As a receiver, just sitting there to be, he's a mismatch nightmare. Truly is a mismatch nightmare. I kind of mentioned he's got the return experience. I mean, he's explosive, he's shifty. It's not surprising that he was used in the return game and this heavily in the passing game. I mean, you could go to the Oregon game, the season opener, man. He was extraordinary, consistently getting open, tearing that Oregon defense apart. Now, might not be the guy that will handle the workload, but to be fair, I don't think anyone really cares about that in the NFL anymore. He's still kind of developing his vision. His vision could be a bit better. There are times where he will hit holes a bit too late and just it's kind of like halts a lot of his progress. He only had 3 yards after contact this year. Fairly good balance, but I wouldn't say it's like extraordinary. But like all in all, man, absolutely love what this guy can do as a receiving back, a return man, and just even if you want to hand him the ball about 10 times a game, I think he's great in that regard. Thank you, Gojo. All right, now let's dip into my day 2 guys in Roschon Johnson out of Texas, 6 foot 225. Look at all these guys are 6 foot 210, 220. Oh man, they be big boys. He was also at the Senior Bowl. Only practiced the first day there. He actually broke a bone in his hand early on day 1 of practice, and thank you, Gojo. Ended up practicing the whole day, and then was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this taken care of now, guys. I'll catch y'all later. I think I did what I needed to do because he looked good, man. He looked good throughout the day, but which, I mean, it's kind of hard for like running backs to kind of look cheeks. Really the game's, I think, a bigger determiner of like what you got there, but is what it is. Roschon Johnson has had the unfortunate burden of being stuck in the shadow of Bijan Robinson. Like I'm stuck in the shadow of Gojo here, sitting here piping up, talking over me. Thanks, buddy. So he's been like, and initially he was a dual threat quarterback coming out of high school. Like he moved to the running back position out of like they had so many injuries, they needed a guy. That freshman season, he had 123 carries for 650 yards, 7 tutties. In 2020, he played in all 10 games and started. But once Bijan got there, like, I mean, it was like, it's kind of wrap. It was like, okay, well, Bijan's here. Like they were basically spending time in 2020. Bijan took the full-time reins in 2021, and he was the guy. Like, kind of is what it is. But I mean, they didn't lose much when Bijan came off the field because Johnson was so good, man. He is just a house in. He's a house in and of himself. Like, he really is. I like the contact balance. I love the physicality. He can take on defensive linemen. He can run by linebackers. He's a bruiser. 40 forced missed tackles on 94 carries? 95 carries. This past season, he isn't slow by any means. Like, once he gets to top speed, he can really gain yards in chunks. He shows soft hands. Is actually a very good pass catcher. Just the not really utilized a ton in that regard as much as Bijan was. But I love this dude. Like, his team consistently they'll praise this guy. He is a team first player, and I think NFL teams are gonna really love that. Now, when it comes to like some of the nitpicks with him, he doesn't always has the most patience when it comes to waiting for holes to develop, and he'll just kind of ram himself into a hole before it actually truly develops. I mean, he's physical. I get it. It's like, okay, even if it's not there, I could probably pound my way in there for a few yards. I mean, his yards after contact this year, 4.28. So very good. That's in the green. Anytime you're over 4 yards after contact, that's pretty darn solid. He isn't particularly shifty, nor does he really possess stop-start ability. That's not the type of back he is. He's kind of a power back, more of a straight line guy, put his head down and eat the shoulder. Think like Tyler Algier-esque, but I like Johnson a bit more than I liked Algier. But big fan, got him as a top 100 guy. On to the next here. At number 7, Tank Bigsby out of Auburn, 6'2", man. Very decisive as a runner, which is great. Because it seemed like in 2021 he shedded weight and suddenly he wanted to get all dancy and tit for tat. And though in 2022 he was like, nah, man, if I see it, I'm going. I'm one move gone, and I like that. He explodes through holes. He's tough to bring down, and usually can take on multiple defenders. I love the burst off his plant foot. He shows very good elusiveness in the open field, shows good patience, shows good vision, but he'll never really overstay his welcome in the backfield. I think that was like a big nitpick of a guy that a lot of people liked last year out of Texas A&M. His name is now blanking me. Plays for the Chargers. I'm going to look this up real quick. Plays for the Chargers. Chargers running backs. Didn't really become Isaiah Spiller. There we go. Spiller never became I guess the true number 2 that the Chargers were hoping he would come in and kind of become. But like that was something with Spiller where he shedded some weight and then he got real bouncy, real dancey, real just like instead of just like cutting and going or like making a decision, moving forward. He tried to give a little too much of the shimmy and too much of the shake, and he got himself caught, got himself trapped. Bigsby, he remedied that from last year, and I like that, man. He's got good physicality, one of the best stiff arms in this class. He's better than you would expect as a pass catcher. Does have a lot of focus drops, so kind of is what it is. He did have a fumble problem in 2021 where he had 4, but only had 1 this year on 178 carries. Love to see it. There have been instances where he was halted at or behind the line of scrimmage. You could go to 2021 where this happened a variety of times. So if he can't really get going early, sometimes it's tough for him to actually make, I guess, something from nothing, so to speak. There are times where he gets too fancy and he'll trip himself or he'll slip. But that was something I talked about with Damian Pearson. He was my running back 3 last year. So it's like a lot of these are nitpicks, but I mean, that's what you got to do. I feel like there's a clear 1 and 2 at the running back position right now. And then like from 3 to 12, we're going to nitpick how all kinds of ways, where these guys should be ranked. But I like Bigsby. He had a solid year there for the Tigers. On to Sean Tucker at number 6. Breaks my heart a little bit because if y'all know me, I was exceptionally high on Sean Tucker coming into the season. 5'10", 210. And it's not to say I'm less high on him now, but he definitely did have a bit of a letdown season compared to 2021. Now he's a very decisive runner as well. He sees the field well, good vision. Once he sees a hole, cut and go. So you give him daylight, cut and go. He's got a really good long field speed. He shows surprising explosiveness. He actually used to run track for Syracuse too, so that shouldn't surprise anybody. And in the open field, he shows quick feet, and he actually has make you miss shiftiness. He operates well in traffic, can bend ball off of blocks. He has that long field speed I kind of already brought up. He's got toughness. He's got durability as a player. Better ball skills than you'd expect. Just wasn't really used heavily in the passing game this year. Even this year, mainly it was a lot of it was coming like screens, swings, and such. However, they're gonna question his lateral ability. Like This year, much of his problems came from teams forcing him to the sideline. Like, he's just not the same player going straight than he is having to like move laterally. So I'm going to be very intrigued with his agility drills at the combine. I'm still a huge fan. I still think, like, man, this is a cat that can be a starter in the NFL. Watch out. I do absolutely love Sean Tucker. It was just kind of a down year, at least by the standard he created in 2021. Number 5, TYJAE Spears at a Tulane. I did it, man. This man, one of my biggest risers coming out of the Senior Bowl. 5'9", 204, had almost 1,600 yards this past season for Tulane. 21 total TDs. Also was a big reason that Tulane was able to beat USC. Huge. He had a big Senior Bowl, man. He was showing off that acceleration, that explosiveness. He took multiple runs to the house. He really did. He might be the best. He was probably the best running back there at the Senior Bowl. You agree too, buddy? Thank you. See, Gojo agrees too. But he didn't really shine in the game. They gave him 1 carry. And did they even give him 1 carry? Or maybe it was just 1 reception. Because he kind of already proved what he needed to during the week. So it's like he really didn't need to shine anymore from that regard. What we're dealing with when it comes to Spears is someone who is just a home run threat anytime he touches the ball. He's got a bit more girth than you would expect, and he's actually a guy that doesn't mind playing physical. He really, really, really doesn't mind, man, because like he'll show patience as holes kind of develop and open up, and he always tries to fall forward on contact. He fights through contact. He just, again, has that physical mentality to him. But like he understands, hey, man, I'm very shifty. I can make a cut. I can make a cut or two, and I can take this house out any given play. I got good stop-start ability. I understand my game, but like if I have to be physical, I will be physical, and I really love that about him. I think he's going to be used excessively in the passing game in the NFL. Like, legit, the guy's light on his feet. He accelerates well. If he plants, he's gone. Like, yeah, no, like, it's like a no kidding. This cat's going to be used in the passing game. Now, I love that he came in above 200. Still, though, if he could get like 210, 215, teams might feel better about that, about him having to take on physicality at the NFL level. While he is a guy that doesn't mind lowering the shoulder, you wonder, can he maintain that contact balance at the NFL level in a more physical NFL? Now, he does at times get overwhelmed in pass protection. Like, no kidding. Like, I think it was a couple of guys. It was Aubrey. I think it was Aubrey Miller from Jackson State, and it was Ivan Pace from Cincinnati who just ate his lunch in pass protection. If he's on the field on a passing down, you're not having him pass protect. It's kind of a waste anyway, man. You want this guy out at receiver. I got him as a top 75 prospect, though. Big fan. All right, number 4, I got DEVON ACHANE out of Texas A&M at 5'9", 185. You might be like, man, you just talked all that good crap about, you want mine stinking Spears getting his weight up to like 210, 215. This guy's 185. Well, speed kills, and that's kind of the thing with ACHANE, but like he's another guy that's like, I can handle a workload. I can play physical. Go to that LSU game. It opened up my eyes because I was like, man, this guy's really just a home run threat with speed who brings value as like that potential, like, can break it long as a runner. He's going to bring good receiving upside. He's going to be a good return man. Like, that's kind of how I saw him. He's fast, cool, and what? But like, he's more than that. He really is. He was eating, like, he can... that LSU game, his ability to consistently stay up on his feet, take contact, not go down, be like, nah, LSU, you think I'm small? Well, y'all are soft. I loved it. It was great. It really was. It really was. Now, he is also a guy that I think used to play track back in high school. No kidding. This dude's stupid fast. Probably one of the, might be one of, if not the fastest receiver here at the combine. I don't know. We'll find out. But, I mean, the nitpicks is, yeah, he's small. He lacks power in the frame. I don't even want to say that, like, because he looks strong. If anything, he's gritty, you know? But, man, like he's going to be a guy you never really want to use as a pass blocker. He's a scat back. That's where you want to use him. Use him as a receiver. Use him as a return man. But he's definitely a guy that can definitely handle the ball in a committee backfield. Let Gojo out here because he can't stand talking about running backs anymore. Man, he's a Chiefs fan. He's like, running back doesn't matter. We spent a first rounder on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and we're regretting it. You're going to ask, who are your star running backs in 2022? Was it your first rounder from, what was it, 2020? No, it was a 7th round pick and a free agent. A low priced free agent. So, yeah. All right, on to number 3, Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA. 6'1", 220. Former Michigan player there. Ended up moving out to UCLA or transferring. Could have came out last year. He would have been, I thought, running back 3 last year. Finds himself here again, running back 3 in this class, which is great. He had a stellar season for the Bruins. And it's just wild because he is like your typical Big Ten back. And then watching him go and play in the Pac-12, it was just like radically different. You're so used to seeing speed out there in the Pac-12. And he's just like, yeah, I'm strong and I'm physical. Good luck stopping me. And that was kind of the case. Ran for over 1,300 yards, 14 tutties, even had 320 receiving yards. The dude just has the ideal size for the position. He's very much a north-south runner. He's powerful. He's physical. Effortlessly, he can eat and charge through contact. He has a decent acceleration once he puts the foot down, and he does a good job of getting to the second level. If you go back to 2021, he had 31 carries for 10-plus yards. Another guy who just... I've said this, I feel like every video. He never stops churning his legs. Now, this is way more important, I think, for the running back and even the receiver, tight end position. Guys who, on contact, just keep churning their legs, driving their legs. I love that. I love that. That's one of my favorite things, man, because that just shows no quit. That shows extra. Those are extra effort guys. They're trying to really scratch and claw for every bit. He had over 4 yards, 4.15 yards after contact this past season. Now, we're going to nitpick the usual things. Not the most explosive, not the most subtle guy in this class, but he doesn't need to be. He knows his game and he plays it well. He has a skill set that will translate exceptionally well to the NFL. There are times he does lose a lot of momentum, changing directions. It is what it is. He's just not many quicks to his game. I don't care. I'm curious how Charbonnet will test. I think as long as he's in that 4.5, even if it's like 4.57, I'm not gonna mind too much. I know his game. He knows his game, and it just translates well at the NFL. All right, here are the top 2. Number 2, JAHMYR GIBBS out of Alabama. 5'11", 200 pounds. Got him as a top 50 prospect. And he's kind of that next tier, and then the guy ahead of him is just on another tier out of this world. But Gibbs initially started at Georgia Tech, played 2 years there, transferred to Alabama, which I liked because I was like, man, this guy's really good out in space. How's he going to look playing more so between the tackles. And guess what? A darn good. He's good at making himself nimble, making himself small. I'm kind of curious if he will weigh out at 200 pounds. So we're going to have to see. I feel like it wouldn't surprise me if he's like 193, 195. But is what it is, man. He probably has the quickest feet in this class. He's a home run threat anytime he touches the ball. Obviously, a receiving threat as well. Over 440 yards this past season receiving. Almost had 1,000 yards. 1,000 yards running. There we go. Rushing. Very fluid, very explosive. Great stop-start ability. I mean, again, the dude's just absolutely dangerous out in space. Very good receiver, like a natural receiver too. The thing is, I think he's more make you miss than actually take on contact. Like, he can break tackles, but like the cleaner tackles, he won't really like push through or really like crack extra yards. He was kind of like pretty mid when it came to yards after contact at 3.4 this past season. Physicality just isn't his game. I thought this season he showed he doesn't get too bouncy. He doesn't get too indecisive behind the line. And I like that. He had an exceptionally great year at Alabama, and it was one of the best decisions of his life to transfer. Good on him. He's probably going to be a early second, or people even say he could sneak into the back end of round 1. But number 1 was never in doubt. It is, in fact, Bijan Robinson, or as PFF likes to say, Sesame Robinson. I don't know why their mock draft simulator was saying that, but 6 foot 222. He's a top 20 prospect, best running back prospect since Saquon Barkley. Barkley probably the better athlete. Bijan, I feel better as I think he's a more natural running back, more natural runner. But Bijan had an exceptionally great year. Almost had 1,600 yards rushing, 20 total touchdowns, over 300 yards receiving. This dude's literally a bull, not in a China shop, but a bull if you taught him how to ballroom dance. He could waltz, he could tango, he could do whatever you freaking want. He is so good in tight quarters. He can cut on a dime. He can change direction quick out of nowhere. He's very tough to bring down, whether it's as a ball carrier or as a pass rusher. I think he led college football on 104 forced missed tackles this past season. I think this is the highest rate in PFF's history in terms of missed tackles per attempt. So, like, yeah, he was kind of like breaking the grades there for PFF. He's got quick feet, high effort player. Huge fan. I'm kind of curious how he will test out lawn speed wise, but that's not going to be, I think, a big determine. It's not going to really hurt his stock. But he ran back in high school testing. He ran a 4.77 40. If he runs like a 4.6, I don't care. It's Bijan's amazing. I imagine he's going to be in the 4.5s, but I'm excited to see him, man. He's the best running back in this class. Someone's going to take him in the first round. We don't know who, but someone. Everyone's trying to guess where he may or may not go. And it truly is a test. Can he maybe be a top 10 pick? There's always a chance. As Dumb and Dumber said, what, 1 in a million? So you're telling me there's a chance. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing, and as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.